it chapter by chapter, one bite at a time. So many adventures and mountains we can climb. Take it word for word, line by line, one bite at a time.
Welcome to Bite at a Time Books, where we read you your favorite classics one bite at a time. My name is Bree Carlile, and I love to read, and wanted to share my passion with listeners like you. If you want to know what's coming next and vote on upcoming books, sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. You'll also find our new t-shirts in the shop, including podcast shirts and quote shirts from your favorite classic novels. Be sure to follow my show on your favorite podcast platform so you get all the new episodes. You can find most of our links in the show notes, but also our website, biteatatimebooks.com, includes all of the links for our show, including to our Patreon to support the show, and YouTube, where we have special behind the narration of the episodes. We're part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you'd also like to hear what inspired your favorite classic authors to write their novels, and what was going on in the world at the time, check out the Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please note, while we try to keep the text as close to the original as possible, some words have been changed to honor the marginalized communities who've identified the words as harmful, and to stay in alignment with Bite at a Time Books' brand values. Today we'll be continuing Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Chapter 15, Cabron. If any French reader objects to having his susceptibilities offended, one word would have to refrain from repeating in his presence, what is, perhaps, the finest reply that a Frenchman ever made. This would enjoin us from consigning something sublime to history. At our own risk and peril, let us violate this injunction. Now then, among those giants there was one Titan, Cabron. To make that reply and then perish, what could be grander? For being willing to die is the same as to die, and it was not this man's fault if he survived after he was shot. The winner of the battle at Waterloo was not Napoleon, who was put to flight, nor Wellington, giving way at 4 o'clock, in despair at 5, nor Blucher, who took no part in the engagement. The winner of Waterloo was Cabron. To thunder forth such a reply as the lightning flash that kills you is to conquer. Thus, to answer the catastrophe, thus to speak to fate, to give this pedestal to the future lion, to hurl such a challenge to the midnight rainstorm, to the treacherous wall of Hougoumont, to the sunken road of Ohain, to Grouchy's delay, to Blucher's arrival, to be irony itself in the tomb, to act so as to stand upright though fallen, to drown in 2 syllables the European coalition, to offer kings privies which the Caesars once knew, to make the lowest of words the most lofty by entwining with it the glory of France, insolently to end Waterloo with Mardi Gras, to finish Leonidas with Rabelais, to set the crown on this victory by a word impossible to speak, to lose the field and preserve history, to have the laugh on your side after such a carnage. This is immense. It was an insult such as a thundercloud might hurl. It reaches the grandeur of Aeschylus. Cabron's reply produces the effect of a violent break. 'Tis like the breaking of a heart under a weight of scorn. 'Tis the overflow of agony bursting forth. Who conquered? Wellington? No. Had it not been for Blucher, he was lost. Was it Blucher? No. If Wellington had not begun, Blucher could not have finished. This Cabron, this man spending his last hour, this unknown soldier, this infinitesimal of war, realizes that here is a falsehood in a catastrophe, and so doubly agonizing, and at the moment when his rage is bursting forth because of it, he has offered this mockery. Life. How could he restrain himself? Yonder, all the kings of Europe, the generals flushed with victory, the Jupiters darting thunderbolts. They have 100,000 victorious soldiers, and back of the 100,000, a million. Their cannons stand with yawning mouths. The matches lighted. They grind down under their heels the Imperial Guards and the Grand Army. They have just crushed Napoleon, and only Cabron remains. Only this earthworm is left to protest. He will protest. Then he seeks for the appropriate word as one seeks for a sword. His mouth froths, and the froth is the word. In the face of this mean and mighty victory, in face of this victory which counts none victorious, this desperate soldier stands erect. He grants its overwhelming immensity, but he establishes its triviality, and he does more than spit upon it, borne down by numbers, by superior force, by brute matter. He finds in his soul an expression, excrement. We repeat it, to use that word, to do thus, to invent such an expression is to be the conqueror. The spirit of mighty days that portentous moment made its descent on that unknown man. Cabron invents the word for Waterloo as Rouget invents the Marseillaise, under the visitation of a breath from on high. An emanation from the divine whirlwind leaps forth and comes sweeping over these men, and they shake, and one of them sings the song supreme, and the other utters the frightful cry. This challenge of titanic scorn Cabron hurls not only at Europe in the name of the Empire. That would be a trifle. He hurls it at the past in the name of the Revolution. It is heard, and Cabron is recognized as possessed by the ancient spirit of the Titans. Danton seems to be speaking. Kleber seems to be bellowing. At that word from Cabron, the English voice responded, "Fire." The batteries flamed. The hill trembled from all those brazen mouths, belched a last terrible gush of grape shot. A vast volume of smoke, vaguely white in the light of the rising moon, rolled out, and when the smoke dispersed, there was no longer anything there. That formidable remnant had been annihilated. The guard was dead. The four walls of the living redoubt lay prone, and hardly was there discernible here and there even a quiver in the bodies. It was thus that the French legions, greater than the Roman legions, expired on Mont Saint Jean, on the soil watered with rain and blood, amid the gloomy grain, on the spot where nowadays Joseph, who drives the post wagon from Nivelles, passes whistling, and cheerfully whipping up his horse at 4 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for joining Bite at a Time Books today, while we read a bite of one of your favorite classics. Again, my name is Bree Carlile, and I hope you come back tomorrow for the next bite of Les Miserables. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com and check out the shop. You can check out the show notes or our website, biteatatimebooks.com, for the rest of the links for our show. We'd love to hear from you on social media as well.